I've been training for 5.5 years now and been doing online fitness coaching one-to-one for over a year. And the biggest excuse I still hear to this day is I do not have enough time. But the thing is, most of the time you don't actually run out of time. You just don't have the right system set in place to maximize the time that you do have to get towards your fitness goals that you want to prioritize. So that's what this YouTube video is going to be about. If you're a corporate worker, if you're someone who works in offices, if you're someone who runs their own business, if you're someone who's constantly traveling or on the road and you just do not have the time or the convenience to reach your fitness goals, then I want to make sure that you have the exact systems and the necessities and even a couple of hacks to make sure that if you do have a fitness goal in mind and you want to prioritize your health while also staying employed in your job, then by all means, this YouTube video will help you a lot. So let me run you through exactly what we're going to talk about. So there's 3 core pillars: training, nutrition, and time management. These are the 3 that most people tend to fuck up when it comes down to achieving their fitness goals while also having a really busy schedule. They either neglect their nutrition, they neglect their training, or they neglect their time and they don't actually give themselves enough time to train. All of these things matter. They matter when it comes down to prioritizing health. They matter when it comes down to actually seeing results. And if you can optimize every single one of these while also staying employed, then that is the perfect recipe to both excel in your corporate career, but then also excel in your physique and fitness goals as well. And with those 3 pillars, we're going to go in depth and quickly break down exactly how you can best approach it in regards to your schedule, the best habits you can have to actually make progress in those areas, and then at the end of the day, how to actually apply it for your situation. Now, to actually understand the solution, we need to outline the problem at hand. So when it comes down to people and their fitness goals, they need to be consistent. You cannot achieve anything great, whether it's a great physique, a great career, a great business, without being consistent. So with a lot of people, and when it comes to a busy time schedule, is they go ahead, they try, things get in the way, they fall down to their systems, which might not be the best for their situation, and they become inconsistent. Inconsistency leads to bad, if no results. No results just results to a lack of motivation or drive to keep trying. And then with a lack of motivation and drive to keep trying, comes again with no results, the dream of being in shape fades away, and then you're left in the exact same situation that you've been for the last couple of years. Now, if you are short on time, you need to understand that you don't have 2 hours, an hour and a half, not even 3 hours to play around in the gym. So understanding that 30 minutes of a very focused session will do you great when it comes to actually getting results. See, 90 minutes of inconsistent and unfocused training will never beat 30 minutes of focused and consistent training. It never will. So if you're able to go into the gym, do 30 minutes of focused training, you know exactly what you need to do, you smash your sets out like so, you rest and recover efficiently, and then you get back in and you give it your A efforts every single rep. That is easily going to beat an unfocused 90-minute session, and guess what? You've just saved yourself an hour of your day. That's an extra hour you can spend with family, that's an extra hour you can spend doing the things that you love to do or even work. So at the end of the day, quality over quantity is a very common rule. Now, how do you actually achieve quality? When you do have a short amount of time, you can't go ahead and train mostly isolation exercises. It's just not really something that's optimal in regards to time. So, compound exercises. Now, if we look at amounts, 3 to 4 compound exercises for every single 30-minute session will be the most optimal for you. You can repeat this 3 times a week, 4 times a week, 5 times a week, 6 times a week if you want, but understanding that compound, those kinds of movements, they will hit more muscle groups than isolation ever will, therefore giving you a better bang for your buck, aka quality over quantity. So when it comes down to your gym sessions, 30 minutes, you can easily smash it out. Make sure you're focused and you know exactly what you need to do, and stick to 3 to 4, again, compound exercises to maximize your time while you're in the gym. And having this first initial system when it comes to the gym and shortening time and also getting quality over quantity will be one of the core steps you can take when it comes to freeing up your day and not spending all day trying to figure out what you're doing when you're actually in the gym. Now, pillar number 2 is fitting it into your day. There's little time gaps throughout your day, typically if you work corporate or in the office or you're always moving around for work, where you have 30, 20 minutes to go ahead and get a workout in. It's just a matter of identifying when those time slots are and maximizing them when you do have the ability to. So you can think lunch breaks, maximizing it, going for a run during your lunch break, 20 minutes, going to the gym before the day even starts. So waking up a little bit earlier, getting the gym session done and dusted. So by the time you finish up work, you're tired, exhausted, you don't need to think about the gym anymore because you already did it in the morning. And another thing could be gyms on the commute. So you need to understand if there's friction towards actually accomplishing a task, it is going to be more and more difficult to actually go ahead and do that. So imagine friction as this. This is work, this is home. You need to make this commute to get to work. If the gym is right in the center, there's no friction whatsoever. However, if the gym is over here, you need to go up here, all the way down to work. There's more friction. And if you can cut out that friction in day-to-day life in regards to your fitness goals, it is going to be so much easier to actually achieve them. So be able to identify what time slots you might be able to work with in regards to mornings before work, in regards to lunch breaks, maybe even on commutes, and try utilize them as best as you can. And when it comes down to it, more than likely you'll have a very set schedule. You know exactly what you need to do at this time, at this hour. You have everything laid out throughout the day. So being able to set aside some time during the weekend to plan 2 non-negotiable sessions. These sessions are very self-explanatory. They're non-negotiable. You must do them. And they can have a set time and live in a set part of the week throughout your coming week. So you know exactly when you need to do them and you plan everything else around them. So you might do 1 in the morning. So that's 1 on Monday morning, for example. That's a non-negotiable. You smash that out, cool. And then you have another one Thursday afternoon, for example. So those are the 2 non-negotiables. You make sure you adhere to them. Any other plans that come up outside of work, then you need to work your way around those 2. Those 2 will be non-negotiables because they will set the standard on what you need to be doing every single week. And if you're able to slide in another 3 sessions, another 2 sessions, and an extra session, then that will be perfect, but they work around these non-negotiables. So again, summarizing this pillar, identify when you can actually do it, whether it's the morning before, training then, whether it's on your lunch break, going for a quick run, doing some bodyweight workouts, or if it's on the commutes over to work, again, cutting out any friction and understanding when to set out those non-negotiable sessions. So again, looking at when you have the time available, doing that the week before, and then going ahead and actually putting it to action. Now the third pillar is nutrition. You need to understand that nutrition is an asset. It can be a liability, but if you fuel it right, if you treat it like a priority, it will definitely be an asset for you in every single endeavor that you choose to pursue. So when you go ahead and you pick what you want to go ahead and eat, understand that hydration, being hydrated all the time, 2.5 to 3 to even 4 liters of water a day is always recommended. And then having a high protein meal, so you're giving your body the fuel it needs to actually grow muscle while also staying more full if fat loss is your main goal. And then having the essentials laid out, so carbs, fats, thinking a little bit more in depth about those things, but that really depends on your personal preferences. But having that first initial layer of nutrition based out so you understand what you're really consuming. Now you need to understand that for most people, the perfect diet isn't always going to exist. Sometimes you can idolize in your mind, I want to have 100% of my foods whole foods. That's just not realistic. When it comes down to it, food deserts are a very common thing. I recently put up a questionnaire on my Instagram asking people who work in corporate spaces, what is the biggest struggle you have when it comes to your fitness goals? And one of the biggest things I saw was food deserts. Not having any good healthy options. Not knowing what to eat and what not to eat when you're out and about at restaurants on your lunch breaks, for example. So you need to understand that office food environments, the food that you might have in the office or the food around it, typically won't work in your favor, and that just comes down to you organizing a time to set aside an hour or 2 to go and cook all the meals that you need. It's meal prep. Meal prep is one of the easiest ways you can go ahead to A, save money, first off. Secondly, be organized so you don't even need to think about it. And then C, and most importantly, save time. If you can designate, and this is something that I do with a lot of my clients, is if you can designate an hour to 2 hours to maximum 3 hours on a Sunday evening to prep all your meals and get it all done right there and right then. So all you need to do is just take it out, microwave it, eat, and continue doing what you were doing. Then by all means, that is going to be the most optimal thing you can do in regards to saving time. So understanding the environment that you're typically working in, office spaces, or the food around you, they're typically deserts in regards to healthy, nutritious food that you want when it comes to achieving your fitness goals. If you want to work against that, by all means, meal prep is going to be the best way you can go ahead and do that. And that is going to be the third most efficient system you can implement to actually achieve your fitness goals while also being tight on time. Now, as I mentioned at the start of this video, everything falls down to systems. If your motivation drops, so does your standards for your fitness, your nutrition, your time management, And if you have the right systems in place, then that standard will still be extremely high. You know exactly what you need to do when it comes down to picking out the days that you will be training. You know exactly what you're going to be eating on a day-to-day basis because you set out the system to meal prep. You also set out the system to train in an efficient time frame, so when you get into the gym, you can smash that session out without any extra thoughts. That's what happens when motivation dips. It falls down to the systems. But if your systems are good, you've worked on them, you've tested them, and you actually adhere to them, that is going to be the night and day difference between achieving your fitness goals and not. So if there's one actionable thing you can do today, looking at your coming week, understanding when you want to set those 2 non-negotiable sessions. I don't care if you've been training forever, I don't care if you've never trained before, setting out those 2 initial days will give you all the information you need in regards to just getting started with those systems. Sure, you can look at meal prep later, sure, you can look at the overall time management later, but being able to identify when you might have the time in regards to early morning sessions on your lunch breaks and actually get into the gym for those 2 non-negotiable sessions, that's probably going to be the most applicable and easily implementable step you can take from this YouTube video. So if you want to see more of this fitness content, then by all means hit the subscribe button because I'm going to be dialing it up when it comes to this kind of content, and I hope to make it as applicable for you as possible. But with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.